Everyone, I hope you're doing great. I wanted to check in really quick today and make a short video regarding the steps you have to take once you made up your mind that you want to play college sports, right? Let's say you're an athlete in tennis, basketball, track and fields, volleyball. Yes, all those sports, with all those sports, you can get to college with a scholarship. So once you made up your mind, the first thing is you need to start prepping before you graduate from high school, right? So let's say 1 year before that, you need to start prepping. Sometimes 2 years. It depends on the country. If you're coming from a French speaking country, you may want to start a little earlier or sooner to give yourself time. So you need to start prepping. Let's start with the simplest examples. So we're going to talk about English speaking countries. So countries that are players that are coming from countries that speak English. The process is super easy for you. The reason behind that is because US is an English speaking country and you're coming from an English speaking country. So the process is a little faster, right? First of all, the language is easier, it's not a barrier. So you can easily transition from that. So a year before you graduate, if we take the example of tennis, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success by playing a lot of tournaments to boost your ranking, by I think more tournaments, right? Training and make sure you're playing like ranked tournaments so you can have a good ranking. You can boost your ranking up and you just set up yourself to be recruited easily. And on top of that, again, just as a reminder, make sure you're playing tournaments that will allow you to have a ranking because we know in Africa, there's a lot of tournaments that are not ranked, right? The tournaments that don't give you any ranking or because they're not like sponsored by the ITFs. It's now that we're seeing other rating system entering Africa, for example, the UTR, right? And you want to make sure you're playing tournaments that will expose you to those kind of rating so you can boost up your ranking. So once you played a lot of tournaments, sorry, and you have a really good ranking, go ahead and start prepping your documents. Make sure all your transcripts are evaluated, right? And this is talking to English speaking players. Evaluate all your documents. You can use the evaluation services. I know West, there's other companies that will evaluate your transcript compared to the American system. You need to do that and have those handy. You don't want to be scrambling at the last minute because that will take you behind. So get those evaluation done. And when you graduate from high school, also get that high school diploma evaluated as well because the school is going to need it. Once you have that, you have a good ranking, right? And for you to be able to have that ranking, you need to talk to your parents, sit down and talk to your parents, your coaches, and tell them that you need to be playing a lot of tournaments. You need to be playing a lot of tournaments, travel and play tournaments. That's the only way you can boost up your ranking. I have a guest on my channel, Amy, who also shared that she was playing a lot of tournaments with her dad. You need to do the same thing. Just play a lot of tournaments, right? And let's say you have a scholarship. You have your transcript evaluated. Now you start communicating with the coach. You reach out to the coach is going to send you the admission form. You're going to fill it out, submit it to the admission. And from there, the admission official that's in charge of working with international players or athletes will reach out and they're going to ask you the necessary documents that needs to be submitted for you to go through the process. Make sure you stay on top of your emails. Make sure you answer your emails with the right documentation. Make sure you follow up. Is there anything that you need? Your passport should be up to date. All the documents up to date. When you get your document evaluated, make sure it's certified, right? Those little details. Make sure you have everything handy. Now, some schools, like if we take the example of Division 1 schools or Division 2, some schools might require SAT scores. They do that to be able to give you more scholarship money so you don't have to come up with money, right? So take the SAT test if you can, if you have the means, just to have it safely stored somewhere in case the coach asks for it, you can pull it up. And on top of that, you need to start getting your eligibility. If you decide to go to Division 1 school, Division 2, or Division 3, you need to start working on the NCAA eligibility process. Again, they're going to ask you a lot of documentation there. You have to pay a fee of $160. Make sure you pick the right sports. If you want to go to an NAIA school, get that NAIA process also started. Submit all the paperwork. Pay the eligibility, pay the process fee. I don't have that on top of my mind right now, but you can look it up on the website. Get that also started. Have everything going, right? The beauty of that is you can start the NCAA process, the NAIA process going, and you don't have to pay the fee. Just have everything ready to go. So when you get an offer, you don't know which school is going to accept you. Once you get the offer, you submit the division that's required. Then you process on that one. Does that make sense? So don't wait last minute to do everything. Then you're just keeping yourself 1 year behind, right? You're going to be all the way back there behind 1 year. Get everything started. That will make the process easier for you. That will make sure you hit the ground running. When the school reach out, you have everything available, right? I think that's mostly the major thing for English-speaking country players. Have those available. So when you get a scholarship, the rest is easy. Yeah, the rest is easy. I'm trying to think. After that, once you get your acceptation letter, they'll send you the I-20. Make sure the amount matches, the name matches, the address, everything matches. Again, this is one thing that the university officers will take care of. They'll make sure they send you all that and they'll confirm. So that's one thing the school will help you on, right? So you don't have to worry too much about that. You need to do your part. Playing tournaments, having a good ranking, training, getting all the eligibility paperwork submitted, taking your tests if you need to, right? So that's that. That's for the English-speaking countries. Now let's talk about the French-speaking countries. So this is players coming from a French country. Myself, I came from Togo. I came from a French-speaking country, and the process was long, and it was really hard. If you're coming from a French-speaking country, if you're coming from a French-speaking country, you should start this process 2 years ahead. Meaning, if you're in Seconde, I'm kind of referring to the French educational system. If you're in Seconde, this is the time to start. You need to start reaching out to the American Embassy or the American Cultural Centers. Ask them, when is the TOEFL happening? When is the Duolingo happening? When is the SATs happening? You need to know all the dates. Once you know the dates, you communicate with your dad or your parents. I don't know why I said that. You communicate with your parent, and they're gonna start saving money to get you to make you take that. Now, for French-speaking countries, Duolingo is a must. You need to take the Duolingo test, and you need to have 80 or higher, if I'm not mistaken, right? 80 or higher. If you cannot take the Duolingo, then you have to take the TOEFL, and you need to score really high to be eligible to join some universities, right? So you need to study. You need to prep before you take the Duolingo. There's Duolingo courses online. There's books you can read. There's local teachers that will help you prep for those tests. Do that. Make sure you set up yourself for success by prepping heavily before taking those tests. Don't just wake up, sign up, and go test the test, because that's not going to work. Prep. So once you take the TOEFL or the Duolingo, you can also take the SAT to boost up your chances of getting into bigger universities. So go ahead and do that. Now, for French players, you need to translate all your certificates from Seconde, Première, Terminale. You need to translate all those documents from French to English. Okay? French to English, you need to translate those documents and get it done by a certified translator. They need to translate, and they're going to certify it by putting their stamp or a signature on it. You don't want to get anybody to do that. You cannot just sit down at home, say, let me just translate my own document. The school is going to reject it. Get it done by a professional who knows what they're doing. They're going to certify and stamp it. Okay? Have that also ready to go. And on top of that, as a French-speaking country player, for example, you need to start working on your English. take English courses, speak in English. When you travel for tournaments, speak in English. You need to be very familiar with the language. It needs to flow. My first language is French. So I speak French, but because I was coming to the States, I was putting all the effort to make sure my English is, I speak a proper English so I can converse with my teammates at school. I can really understand what the teachers are saying, with my coach, everything. So it's a package. So for French speaking players, English, you need to really invest yourself in making sure the your English is fluent, is clear, and please speak a good English, right? Full sentences with the right pronunciations and stuff like that. We do have our accent that will kick in, which is normal. And in US, people don't make fun of people have accent. That's one thing I love about the US. Nobody's going to be making fun of you. So speak the English that you know, right? The proper English. Even if your accent comes through, it's okay. It's normal, right? Some people love that. So French-speaking countries, you have more work to do. And once you have all the documentation ready, you reach out to the school, you talk to the school, you get your paperwork, then the process becomes the same as a French-speaking country. They send you the I-20. From the I-20, you get your everything ready, you get your appointment for your visa, and then you come. Okay? So if I take an English-speaking player and a French-speaking player, the big difference is what? The English-speaking player, they might not take any tests because they already speak English. They don't need Duolingo. They don't need TOEFL. SATs, some schools now are not taking SATs. So they're fine. If they can get their document evaluated, they're fine to come in. However, a French-speaking player, you need to take Duolingo or TOEFL. SAT is also flexible on that side. Okay? And on top of that, French-speaking country, you need to translate your paperwork, your school documentation, translate it. You need to get it translated, right? So those are the differences that you have, and also work on your English. Okay, so I wanted to drop in here really quick to touch on that. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, oh, I forgot about the junior colleges. So you have the NCAA, Division I, the NAIA private universities, and then you have the junior colleges, 2-year universities, right? So I'll make another video detailing on each division, what to expect, what you see, but that's that. Okay, I hope this was helpful. If you want me to touch on anything else, put in the comment. I'll gladly touch on that for you all to have more clarity and you all to prep. Again, if you want to reach out to us, we're on Facebook, Instagram. The website is www.interrecruit.org. We're on Facebook as Interrecruit Foundation. We're on Instagram as Interrecruit Foundation. Now, quick, if you are still in high school and you want to take online classes so you have the flexibility to travel the world and play tournaments, we're in a partnership with a high school here in the state where you can take classes online and be able to do that as well. So if you want to talk more about that, leave me a comment here. I'll reach out to you and we can see how we can support you. Okay? Until then, have a good day. Perform, perform, perform. Go hard or go home. There's no taking it easy way. Thank you. Bye-bye.